Amara Obina had everything a girl could ask for: luxury cars, fine clothes, and vacations abroad. Her parents, Chief Obina and Mrs. Uche Obina, were well known in the Nigerian business world, and they had given Amara the best of everything. Yet, despite her glamorous life, Amara often felt trapped. She was expected to live a life that aligned with the family's reputation, marry into wealth, build a prestigious career, and always maintain appearances. But beneath it all, Amara was yearning for something more, something genuine and untouched by the pressures of status and wealth. Amara's heart longed for freedom, for a love that didn't depend on her last name or social connections. As she packed her bags to travel to the UK for university, she made herself a promise. She would not let the expectations of Lagos society weigh her down. In England, she would create her own story, a life where her heart would lead the way. In Accra, Ghana, Kwame Asante lived a completely different life. His family's small house was nestled in a crowded neighborhood, filled with the sounds of children playing and merchants calling out on the streets. Kwame's parents, Mr. Kofi and Mama Esi Asante, didn't have much, but they had given him what mattered most: love, respect, and faith in hard work. Kwame grew up knowing that the world might not hand him success on a silver platter, but his determination would be enough to carry him through. When Kwame was accepted to the same university in England where Amara was going, his entire family celebrated as though he had won a grand prize. His parents sold some of their savings just to buy him a plane ticket and ensure he would have enough for his first few months abroad. For Kwame, studying in England wasn't just an education. It was a chance to make something of himself, to prove that even the son of a struggling family could rise above his circumstances. It was an overcast afternoon when Amara and Kwame first crossed paths at the university library. Amara had been searching for a quiet corner to finish her assignment, but all the tables were full, except for one, where Kwame sat with his headphones in, typing furiously on his laptop. Amara hesitated before asking, "Is this seat taken?" Kwame looked up, smiled warmly, and shook his head. "No, please, you can sit here." As the hours passed, they exchanged polite smiles, and eventually a conversation began. Kwame's easygoing nature intrigued Amara. They spoke about their shared experience of leaving Africa to study abroad, and the conversation flowed effortlessly, as though they had known each other for years. By the end of that evening, Amara found herself smiling in a way she hadn't in a long time. Kwame had a charm that was simple and unpretentious, something she wasn't used to in her social circles back home. Over the next few weeks, Amara and Kwame kept running into each other at student events, study sessions, and even the campus cafeteria. What began as casual greetings evolved into deeper conversations about life, family, and dreams for the future. Amara was captivated by Kwame's view of the world. Unlike many people she knew, Kwame didn't measure success by wealth or status. He valued kindness, loyalty, and integrity, qualities Amara had always admired but rarely found in her own circles. They began spending late nights together, walking along the riverbank, talking about their homes in Lagos and Accra. Each time they met, Amara felt herself falling deeper, but she was also aware of the storm that awaited if her family ever found out. Kwame, too, felt the growing connection between them, though he knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. He didn't have the riches or status Amara's parents would expect from a son-in-law. Still, neither of them could ignore what was happening between them. Their first official date was unplanned. One rainy afternoon, they found shelter at a small cafe near campus. As they sat sipping hot cocoa, they laughed about their cultural differences, Amara teasing Kwame about his love for jollof rice, and Kwame playfully arguing that Ghanaian jollof was, in fact, superior to Nigerian jollof. The playful banter eased any remaining awkwardness between them, and by the end of the day, they both knew this wasn't just a friendship. That evening, as Kwame walked Amara back to her dorm, the air between them shifted. It was clear that their bond was becoming something deeper, something more meaningful. But Amara's heart felt a twinge of fear. Her parents had always warned her about associating with the wrong kind of people. Yet in Kwame's presence, she felt truly herself, free from expectations, free from the weight of her family name. And for the first time in her life, she decided she wouldn't let fear hold her back. Amara and Kwame soon became inseparable. Their days were filled with study sessions, movie nights, and quiet walks through the streets of London. As the leaves turned golden with autumn, so did their relationship blossom into something beautiful. Kwame admired how thoughtful and kind Amara was beneath the confident exterior she wore, while Amara found comfort in Kwame's unwavering calmness. Together, they created their own little world, free from the expectations waiting for them back home. But their growing love was not without complications. Amara's phone buzzed constantly with messages from her mother, reminding her to focus on her studies and not get distracted. She knew that introducing Kwame to her family would be risky. They wouldn't approve of him. Yet she couldn't bring herself to let go. With Kwame, she felt like she was living, not just existing. It was a feeling too rare and precious to ignore. As the holiday season approached, Amara grew anxious about her return to Lagos. Her mother was already making plans for her to meet the son of a business tycoon, a suitor her parents believed was perfect for her. Amara dreaded the conversations that awaited her back home, but she tried not to think about it too much. "We'll deal with that when the time comes," Kwame told her, holding her hand as they strolled under the twinkling Christmas lights. Kwame, on the other hand, was excited about visiting his family in Accra. Though he missed home, he also feared the day when Amara's world would clash with his. "What if they try to change your mind?" he asked softly one night. Amara squeezed his hand, her eyes filled with quiet determination. "They won't. I know what I want, Kwame, and I want us." Before they parted for the holidays, Kwame gave Amara a small bracelet he had saved up to buy. It wasn't anything expensive, just simple black beads with a heart-shaped charm, but to Amara it was the most beautiful gift she had ever received. "Whenever you wear this, remember that no matter what happens, I'm with you," Kwame said, his voice full of sincerity. Amara's heart swelled with emotion, and she knew in that moment that she was all in, no matter the cost. They stood at the airport, reluctant to let go. "Promise me you won't let anyone come between us," Amara whispered as she hugged him tight. "I promise," Kwame replied, pressing his forehead against hers. It was a promise neither of them knew would be tested in ways they couldn't yet imagine. Amara's homecoming was exactly as she had feared. Her parents welcomed her warmly at first, but soon the interrogations began. "So, have you met anyone interesting?" her mother asked, a knowing glint in her eye. Amara tried to deflect, but it was only a matter of time before the topic turned to the young suitor they had picked out for her. "You'll love him," her mother insisted. "He's everything you need. Handsome, well-connected, and from a good family." Amara felt trapped. She tried to explain that she wasn't interested, but her parents were relentless. "Amara, you need to understand the importance of marrying the right kind of man," her father said sternly. "This is not about love. It's about building a future." The weight of their expectations pressed down on her like a heavy chain, but in her heart, she knew she couldn't let go of Kwame. Meanwhile, Kwame's homecoming was filled with warmth and joy. His parents were delighted to have him back, showering him with stories and food. When he told them about Amara, their faces lit up. "She sounds like a wonderful girl," his mother said, her eyes twinkling with excitement. "You must bring her here someday." Kwame smiled, grateful for the love and support of his family, but deep down, he worried about how Amara was faring with her own family. In Lagos, Amara struggled silently through the holidays. Every time she tried to talk to her parents about Kwame, they shut her down. "You deserve better," her mother would say dismissively. "Why waste your time with someone who can't offer you the kind of life you deserve?" But Amara knew better. She knew that what she had with Kwame was rare and real, and no matter how hard her parents tried to sway her, she refused to let them take that away from her. The end of the holiday break couldn't come fast enough for Amara. Every day in Lagos felt like a battle she was destined to lose. Her parents pressured her with lavish dinners and forced meetings with potential suitors. Each time she rejected their suggestions, her mother's disappointment deepened and her father's temper grew colder. She didn't tell them about Kwame. There was no point. They would never understand. When she finally returned to England, Amara felt a weight lift off her chest. The moment she saw Kwame waiting for her at the airport with his familiar warm smile, she ran into his arms. "I missed you," she whispered, burying her face in his neck. For the first time in weeks, she felt like she could breathe again. With Kwame, she didn't have to pretend. She could simply be herself. The months following their reunion felt like a dream. Amara and Kwame spent every moment they could together, creating their own little world away from the pressures of home. They celebrated small victories, passing tough exams, cooking meals together, and even dancing in the kitchen to Afrobeats. In those moments, nothing else mattered. They didn't care about their family's opinions or the obstacles they knew were waiting back in Nigeria and Ghana. But deep down, both Amara and Kwame knew their time in England was temporary. They were halfway through their degrees, and soon they would have to face the realities they had left behind. "What if they never accept us?" Amara asked one evening, her voice laced with uncertainty. Kwame brushed a strand of hair from her face and kissed her forehead. "They don't have to. As long as we have each other, we'll be okay." One afternoon, as Amara and Kwame walked hand in hand across campus, Amara's heart skipped a beat when she saw someone she wasn't expecting, her cousin, Ijoma. "Amara?" Ijoma called out, her eyes wide with surprise. Amara froze for a moment, her heart racing. She had kept her relationship with Kwame a secret from her family, but now the truth was standing right in front of her. Kwame extended a polite hand. "Hi, I'm Kwame. Nice to meet you." Ijoma gave him a stiff smile, clearly shocked. "I didn't know you had a boyfriend," she said, her tone unreadable. Amara could tell that this encounter would quickly spread through her family back in Lagos. Her secret was out, and she knew there was no going back. As expected, it didn't take long for the news to reach her parents. Within days, Amara received a call from her mother. "What is this nonsense I'm hearing about a boy from Ghana?" her mother asked sharply. Amara's heart sank, but she tried to stay calm. "His name is Kwame, and we're dating," she replied firmly. The silence on the other end of the line was deafening before her mother's voice returned, full of anger. "Do you know what people will say about us? What kind of future do you think you'll have with someone like that?" Amara clenched her fists, trying to hold back tears. She had known this conversation would come eventually, but it still hurt more than she expected. "I love him, Mama," she whispered. But her mother's response was cold and final. "End it, Amara, or there will be consequences." Amara spent the next few days in turmoil. Her parents' disapproval weighed heavily on her heart, and for the first time, she considered what it would mean to walk away from Kwame. She could avoid the constant arguments with her parents, restore peace at home, and live the life they had planned for her. But deep down, she knew that wasn't the life she wanted. Losing Kwame would mean losing a part of herself. When she told Kwame about the conversation with her mother, his expression was calm, though Amara could see the sadness in his eyes. "We'll figure this out," he said softly, holding her hand. "I don't care what anyone says. I'm not letting go of us." In that moment, Amara knew she had made her decision. No matter how hard it got, she would fight for their love. They were in this together. Amara's father, Chief Obinna, took the situation into his own hands. He arranged a video call with her, his face stern and voice heavy with authority. "Amara, this relationship will destroy your future," he said firmly. "If you insist on being with this boy, You are no longer our daughter. You will lose everything, your home, your inheritance, and our name." His words stung, but Amara stayed silent, her heart racing. She knew her parents meant every word. Their love came with conditions, and Kwame didn't meet those conditions. "We gave you everything," her father continued, "and this is how you repay us?" The weight of the ultimatum crushed Amara, but she also felt a strange sense of clarity. She couldn't live under their control any longer. With a shaky breath, she answered, "If you can't accept me as I am, then maybe I don't belong in this family." The days following the conversation with her parents were some of the hardest of Amara's life. Her phone buzzed constantly with missed calls from her mother, aunties and cousins, all trying to convince her to reconsider. She read through the messages but didn't reply. Each attempt felt like a reminder of the life she was choosing to leave behind. Late one night, Amara sat on her bed with tears streaming down her face. "I didn't want it to be this way," she whispered to Kwame. He knelt beside her, wiping away her tears. "I know, my love," he said gently, "but you are not alone. You have me, and you always will." His words brought comfort, though the ache in Amara's heart remained. She was losing her family, but at least she wasn't losing him. With their hearts heavy, Amara and Kwame decided to visit Kwame's family in Accra. If her family wouldn't accept their relationship, they hoped his family would offer the love and support they needed. The moment Kwame's mother, Mama Essie, saw Amara, she welcomed her with open arms. "Ah, so this is the beautiful girl my son cannot stop talking about," she exclaimed, pulling Amara into a warm embrace. The Asantes treated Amara like she was already part of the family. They spent their days exploring local markets and sharing meals filled with laughter and joy. For the first time in weeks, Amara felt like she belonged somewhere. Kwame's father told stories of their ancestors, and his siblings teased Kwame about how lucky he was to find someone like her. Amara felt a deep sense of gratitude. While her own family had turned away from her, Kwame's family had opened their hearts. The return to England after their visit to Ghana marked a new chapter in their relationship, but it also came with new challenges. Amara tried to stay strong, but the absence of her family weighed on her more than she expected. Holidays passed without so much as a phone call from Lagos, and each time she scrolled through social media and saw her family attending events without her, the pain cut deeper. Kwame did everything he could to lift her spirits, but there were moments when even his presence wasn't enough to fill the void. "I just miss them," Amara admitted one rainy evening. Kwame wrapped his arms around her. "I know, love, but remember, we are building something beautiful, even if they don't see it yet." Amara nodded, holding on to his words as tightly as she held on to him. Despite the trials they faced, Amara and Kwame's love grew stronger. They had each other, and that was enough, for now. After 2 years of dating, Kwame surprised Amara one evening with a candlelit dinner at their favorite cafe. As they finished their dessert, Kwame reached into his pocket, his hands slightly trembling. "Amara, I knew from the moment I met you that you were the one," he began. "Will you marry me?" Amara gasped, her eyes filling with tears. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes," she cried, throwing her arms around him. They laughed and kissed under the soft glow of the cafe lights, knowing that this moment was the start of something new. But even as they celebrated their engagement, they knew the road ahead would not be easy. The news of their engagement would stir the waters back in Lagos, and Amara's parents were not going to make things any easier. The news of Amara and Kwame's engagement spread quickly. They posted a photo on social media, Amara beaming with joy, her hand resting on Kwame's chest, proudly displaying her engagement ring. For Kwame's family, the announcement was met with excitement and celebration. Mama Ezzy cried tears of joy, already dreaming about the wedding preparations. But in Lagos, the news hit Amara's parents like a thunderstorm. Her mother was the first to call. "This is how you repay us," Engaged to that boy? She shouted over the phone, her voice breaking with anger. Amara felt her heart shatter, but she stood her ground. I love him, Mama. I won't apologize for that. The line went silent for a moment before her mother's final words cut through like a knife. You're on your own, Amara. Don't contact us again. Amara collapsed into Kwame's arms after the call, her whole body trembling with grief. They've cut me off, she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. Kwame held her close, wishing he could take away her pain. I'm here, he whispered, kissing the top of her head. We'll get through this together. Though they tried to focus on the joy of their engagement, the weight of Amara's family's rejection hung over them like a cloud. Amara tried to stay strong, but there were nights when she lay awake, wondering if she had made the right decision. Kwame comforted her the best he could, but he knew there were no easy answers. Love had brought them this far, but the road ahead was uncertain. With only Kwame's family behind them, Amara and Kwame began planning a modest wedding in Accra. They had dreamed of a large celebration with both their families present, but they knew that dream was now impossible. Amara reached out one last time to her parents, hoping they might reconsider, but her messages went unanswered. Mama Isi and the rest of Kwame's family did their best to fill the void. They planned every detail with love and excitement, from the flowers to the music. Amara found herself laughing again as they discussed traditional Ghanaian wedding customs, and for a moment she allowed herself to dream of a future filled with happiness, even without her family's approval. The wedding day was bittersweet. The ceremony took place under the golden sunlight of an Accra afternoon, with close friends and family gathered to witness their union. Amara wore a simple, elegant gown, and Kwame looked dashing in his traditional kente attire. As they exchanged vows, they locked eyes, both silently promising to protect the love they had fought so hard for. But as joyful as the day was, there was an undeniable ache in Amara's heart. She had hoped against all odds that her parents would surprise her and show up. But the empty seats reserved for them stayed that way. After the ceremony, as she danced with Kwame under the starlit sky, she whispered to him, "Even though they're not here, I feel at peace. This is where I'm meant to be, with you." After the wedding, Amara and Kwame began their new life as husband and wife. They settled in Accra, where they both found fulfilling jobs, Kwame working as an engineer, and Amara launching a small business selling imported fabrics. Together they created a home filled with love, laughter, and hope for the future. Still, Amara carried the pain of her family's absence with her. There were moments when she wondered if they thought about her, if they regretted their decision to cut her off. But she chose to focus on the life she was building with Kwame, determined to make the most of the love they shared. "We're creating something beautiful," Kwame would often remind her. And with each passing day, Amara began to believe it more and more. In the months following their wedding, Amara and Kwame built a routine that brought them closer. They spent weekends exploring the streets of Accra, enjoying waki at street stalls, and going on long walks by the beach. Kwame's family embraced Amara even more, treating her as one of their own. Mama Ezi often dropped by with homemade meals, insisting, "You two need to eat properly if you're going to give me grandchildren soon." Despite everything, Amara felt a peace she hadn't known before. Life was far from perfect, and her heart still ached for her parents, but in Kwame's arms she found joy. "This is our little world," Kwame would say, and Amara couldn't agree more. They knew that love alone couldn't erase the past, but it made the present worth living. Their first wedding anniversary was a quiet affair, just the two of them. They cooked dinner together, reminiscing about their favorite memories from the past year. "Do you think your parents think about us?" Kwame asked softly, as they shared a slice of cake under the candlelight. Amara sighed, her heart heavy. "I don't know," she admitted. "Maybe they do, but pride won't let them reach out." The silence that followed was thick with unspoken sorrow. Kwame squeezed her hand. It doesn't matter, he whispered. We have each other. Amara smiled, grateful for his unwavering love, even though she knew a part of her heart still longed for reconciliation. One morning, Amara woke up feeling dizzy and unusually tired. At first she thought it was just stress or fatigue from work, but when the symptoms persisted, Kwame suggested she take a pregnancy test. What if? He asked, his eyes filled with excitement. Amara's hands trembled as she waited for the test results. When the 2 pink lines appeared, signaling a positive result, she gasped, Kwame, we're having a baby, she cried, running into his arms. Kwame lifted her off the ground, spinning her around as joy filled their home. No, he said with a grin, we're having 2 babies. Amara stared at him, confused. What do you mean? Kwame chuckled. I just have a feeling, trust me. At their first ultrasound appointment, the doctor's smile confirmed Kwame's prediction. Congratulations, she said warmly. You're expecting twins. Amara and Kwame exchanged stunned looks before bursting into laughter. I knew it, Kwame exclaimed, his face glowing with pride. As they walked home hand in hand, Amara felt overwhelmed with emotions. Their love had survived so many storms, and now they were about to become parents. Do you think we should tell my family? Amara asked hesitantly. Kwame paused for a moment, then nodded. Yes. Whether they accept it or not, they deserve to know. Amara agreed, though she wasn't sure if her family would care. Instead of calling or messaging her family directly, Amara decided to announce her pregnancy on social media, hoping it would reach them. She shared a photo of her and Kwame holding tiny baby shoes with the caption, We're expecting twins. Can't wait to meet our little bundles of joy. Within hours, the post went viral among their friends and relatives, attracting dozens of comments and congratulations. When Amara scrolled through the comments, her heart skipped a beat. Her younger brother Cheeky had liked the post. Soon after, she received a message from him. Congratulations, Amara. I've missed you. Mama and Papa saw the post. They want to talk. Amara stared at the message, her emotions swirling. Could this be the moment she had been waiting for? Amara's phone rang the next morning. She froze when she saw the caller ID. Her mother. It had been 2 years since they last spoke, and her hands trembled as she answered. Amara. Her mother's voice was hesitant, softer than she remembered. Congratulations on the babies, her mother continued after a long silence. Your father and we've been thinking. Can we talk? Amara's heart raced. It wasn't quite the apology she had hoped for, but it was a start. I would like that, she whispered, her voice shaky but sincere. Kwame squeezed her hand, giving her the strength to continue. We can talk. Amara's parents arranged a video call that evening. Seeing their familiar faces again stirred a mix of emotions, relief, anger, and sadness. Her father, Chief Obina, cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable. We were wrong to cut you off, he began stiffly. But you have to understand, we only wanted what was best for you. Amara felt a flash of anger rise within her, but she kept calm. You wanted what was best for you, she corrected. Not me. Her mother's eyes welled with tears. We miss you, Amara, she whispered. Let's try to make things right, for the sake of the children. It wasn't the heartfelt apology Amara had dreamed of, but it was a step in the right direction. Okay, she said quietly. We can try. Kwame suggested that they all attend family counseling to work through their differences and rebuild trust. To Amara's surprise, her parents agreed. The counseling sessions were hard, filled with tears, frustrations, and painful truths. Chief Obina struggled to let go of his pride, and Amara's mother had to confront her need to control her daughter's life. During one session, the counselor asked Amara, "What do you need from your parents moving forward?" Amara's voice wavered as she answered, "I just want to feel loved without conditions." Her father's expression softened for the first time in years. "We are learning, Amara," he said slowly. "We want to try." The sessions didn't magically fix everything, but they helped bridge the gap between Amara and her family. Her parents began calling regularly, asking about her pregnancy and showing genuine interest in her life. Amara remained cautious. Part of her feared that their acceptance was temporary. One day, her mother surprised her with a gesture that meant more than words. "I've been sewing some clothes for the babies," she said over the phone. "I know it's not much, but I wanted to contribute." Amara's heart softened. "Thank you, Mama," she whispered, tears threatening to spill. The walls that once separated them were slowly coming down, brick by brick. With her due date approaching, Amara and Kwame found themselves in a whirlwind of preparations. Kwame assembled the cribs while Amara folded tiny clothes, marveling at how small they were. "Can you believe we're about to become parents?" she asked, placing her hand on her growing belly. Kwame kissed her forehead. "We've got this," he said confidently, though his excitement was tinged with nervousness. The nursery, painted in soft yellows and blues, felt like a symbol of hope, a promise of a bright future. Amara's heart swelled with happiness. For the first time in a long while, things felt right. The babies would be born into a world filled with love, and slowly but surely, Amara's broken family was piecing itself back together. In the final weeks of her pregnancy, Amara found herself more exhausted than ever. Moving around became a challenge, and even the simplest tasks left her breathless. Kwame was by her side through it all, rubbing her swollen feet and making her favorite meals. "Just a little longer," he whispered every night as they drifted off to sleep, his hand resting protectively on her belly. Meanwhile, her parents grew more involved, calling daily to check on her. "We'll come to Accra for the birth," her mother offered hesitantly. Amara hesitated. It was a big step, but she knew she had to allow it if they were going to rebuild their relationship. "Okay," she said softly. "We would like that." She didn't know how things would go, but it was a risk worth taking for the sake of the babies. The babies arrived sooner than expected. One rainy night, Amara woke up with sharp pains in her lower back. "Kwame!" she gasped, clutching his arm. Kwame sprang out of bed, realizing that the twins were coming early. They rushed to the hospital in the pouring rain, both nervous and excited. "It's happening," Kwame whispered, squeezing her hand as they reached the delivery room. Labor was long and exhausting, but Amara was determined. Hours later, the cries of their newborn twins filled the room, one boy and one girl. Kwame kissed her tear-streaked face. "You did it, my love," he whispered. As she held the tiny babies in her arms, Amara felt overwhelmed with joy and gratitude. "We're a family," she whispered, knowing that this moment was worth every struggle they had faced. Kwame and Amara introduced their twins to the world through social media with a heartwarming post. "Our hearts are full. Welcome to the world, Kofi and Naoma." The picture of the tiny babies wrapped in matching blankets brought an outpouring of love from friends and family. Chiki was the first to comment. "They are beautiful. Can't wait to meet them." Minutes later, Amara's parents shared the post on their own pages with captions full of pride. "Welcome, our precious grandchildren," her mother wrote, tagging Amara. Seeing the public display of affection filled Amara's heart with cautious hope. Maybe, just maybe, the past was finally behind them. A week later, Amara's parents arrived in Accra. It was the first time they would meet Kwame and the babies in person. As the doorbell rang, Amara's heart raced. She opened the door to find her parents standing there, her mother holding a large basket filled with gifts for the twins. Her father extended his hand to Kwame. "I was wrong about you," he admitted, his voice low. "You've taken care of my daughter, and for that, I am grateful." Kwame accepted the handshake, his heart swelling with relief. Amara watched as her parents took the babies in their arms, tears glistening in their eyes. In that moment, the years of pain and separation seemed to melt away, replaced by the possibility of a new beginning. The first meeting wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Amara's parents stayed for a few days, getting to know Kwame's family and bonding with the twins. Mama AC welcomed them warmly, her gentle demeanor helping to ease the tension. "We're all family now," she said, embracing Amara's mother like an old friend. Late one evening, Amara's mother sat beside her, rocking little Naoma to sleep. "I thought I had lost you," she whispered. "But I see now that I was the one who drove you away." Amara blinked back tears. "I never stopped loving you, Mama," she whispered back. "I just needed you to love me as I am." Her mother nodded, pressing a kiss to Amara's forehead. "We're here now. We'll do better." It was a quiet promise, but one Amara knew her mother intended to keep. With the arrival of Kofi and Naoma, life settled into a new routine. Mornings were filled with baby coos and gentle laughter as Amara and Kwame adjusted to parenthood. Their home echoed with joy, and even the long nights were worth it for the smiles on their babies' faces. Amara's parents regularly visited, helping with diaper changes and sharing their parenting wisdom. Amara was surprised at how natural it felt to have her parents around again. They brought gifts for the twins, hand-knitted blankets and traditional clothes. One evening, as they all gathered for dinner, her mother said, "You've made a lovely home here, Amara. I'm so proud of you." Amara beamed, feeling warmth spread through her chest. Perhaps this was the reconciliation she had longed for, one built on love, patience and understanding. As the twins reached their first month, Kwame suggested they host a small family celebration. "Let's introduce them to everyone," he said, excitement sparkling in his eyes. Amara loved the idea. They decided to invite Kwame's extended family and Amara's parents for a gathering filled with laughter, traditional music and plenty of food. On the day of the celebration, the house was filled with loved ones. The scent of jollof rice and grilled chicken wafted through the air, and Amara couldn't help but feel grateful for the sense of community surrounding them. As she looked around at the smiling faces, she felt a profound sense of belonging. With the babies in their arms, they celebrated not just the twins' birth, but the healing of their family. During the celebration, Amara's parents shared stories of their Nigerian culture, while Kwame's family spoke of Ghanaian traditions. They bonded over the similarities and differences, laughing as they learned about each other's customs. "We should combine our cultures in the twins' upbringing," Amara suggested, her eyes shining with excitement. Kwame nodded enthusiastically. "Let's celebrate both Nigerian and Ghanaian holidays," he said. Amara's parents agreed, thrilled at the prospect of blending their rich heritages. It was a small but significant step toward unifying their families, and Amara couldn't help but feel hopeful about the future. As the weeks turned into months, the joy of their new family life began to intertwine with the weight of expectations. Amara's parents frequently expressed their desire to be involved in every aspect of the twins' lives, from education to cultural traditions. While Amara appreciated their enthusiasm, it sometimes felt overwhelming. One evening, as they put the babies to bed, Amara voiced her concerns to Kwame. "I love that they want to be involved, but it feels like they're trying to control everything," she admitted, anxiety creeping into her voice. Kwame wrapped his arms around her, offering comfort. "You're their mother, Amara. You have the final say. We can set boundaries together." His words reassured her. They would navigate this new territory as a team. Determined to establish a healthy balance, Amara and Kwame scheduled a family meeting with her parents. They sat in the living room, the twins asleep in their cribs. "We appreciate your love and support," Amara began, her voice steady but kind. "But we need to establish some boundaries to raise Kofi and Naoma the way we envision." Her parents listened intently, and though there were moments of tension, they ultimately understood. "We want what's best for you and the babies," her father said. "We'll respect your wishes." Amara felt a weight lift off her shoulders. This conversation was essential for building a harmonious relationship, and with Kwame by her side, she felt empowered to advocate for her family. After setting boundaries, Amara's parents began to adjust to their new roles in their grandchildren's lives. Amara watched as they respected her wishes, attending family gatherings, but allowing her and Kwame to make decisions about the twins. It was a delicate dance, but slowly, trust began to blossom again. One evening, as Amara watched her father hold Kofi, she felt a surge of hope. He was gentle and careful, the smile on his face genuine. "I never imagined being a grandfather would feel like this," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Amara smiled softly. "You're doing great, Papa." It was a small step, but it signified that their relationship was evolving. Together, they were learning to trust each other again. With the holidays approaching, Amara and Kwame planned a celebration that would honor both their cultures. They invited family members from both sides, excited to showcase the unique traditions they had chosen to blend. The decorations reflected the vibrancy of Nigeria and Ghana, colorful kente cloths draped alongside beautiful Nigerian artifacts. The night was filled with laughter and storytelling, as Amara's mother prepared a traditional Nigerian dish, while Kwame's family made their famous banku and tilapia. They played games, sang songs, and danced, creating memories that would last a lifetime. Amara watched her parents engage with Kwame's family, feeling a sense of unity that had once seemed impossible. After a few months of settling into their new dynamic, Amara and Kwame decided it was time for a family trip. "Let's go to the beach," Kwame suggested, envisioning a day filled with sunshine and laughter. Amara loved the idea and quickly organized everything, inviting her parents and Kwame's family to join them. The day at the beach was filled with joy. Kofi and Neoma splashed in the shallow waves, while the adults shared stories and laughter under the warm sun. Amara's heart swelled as she saw her father play with the twins, his laughter ringing in the air. The barriers between their families seemed to dissolve further, and for the first time Amara felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the journey they had traveled together. As the months passed, Amara faced new challenges that came with motherhood. Kofi and Neoma were growing quickly, and each milestone brought a mix of joy and anxiety. "What if I'm not doing it right?" she confided in Kwame one evening, her eyes reflecting her fears. Kwame wrapped his arms around her, comforting her. "You're doing great, Amara. We're in this together," he reassured her. But the worries lingered, especially as the twins began teething. Sleepless nights became the norm, testing their patience and resolve. Amara felt overwhelmed, but reminded herself that it was okay to ask for help, especially from their families, who had eagerly offered their support. With the twins' teething troubles, Amara and Kwame finally decided to lean on their families for support. They reached out to both sets of grandparents, inviting them over to help during the particularly tough nights. The response was enthusiastic, and soon the house buzzed with energy as her parents and Kwame's family came to assist. Amara found comfort in the chaos. Her mother took over nighttime soothing rituals, and Kwame's family shared old remedies that had worked for them. "You're never alone in this," her mother reminded her, holding Neoma close. It was a reminder of how far they had come, transforming their initial conflicts into collaboration and love. As they navigated the challenges of parenthood together, Amara realized that family support was a blessing she had long yearned for. As Kofi and Neoma approached their first birthday, Amara felt a whirlwind of emotions. Time flew by too quickly, and she was both excited and nostalgic. The twins were becoming more mobile, exploring their surroundings with endless curiosity. Every day brought new milestones, from their first steps to their first words. Yet, with each new skill, Amara also faced new challenges. One afternoon, while trying to wrangle the twins during playtime, she felt overwhelmed. Kofi had climbed onto the couch, ready to leap into the unknown, while Neoma was determined to pull everything off the shelves. "What have we done?" Amara said, half laughing, half exasperated. Kwame joined her on the floor, chuckling at the chaos. "We created two little explorers. This is what parenting is all about," he replied. Amara took a deep breath, realizing that their adventure was just beginning. Planning the twins' first birthday party became a significant project for Amara and Kwame. They wanted to create a celebration that honored both their cultures while making it fun for everyone. They decided on a vibrant theme, blending bright colors and traditional decorations from both Nigeria and Ghana. On the day of the party, the house was adorned with balloons, streamers, and a cake that beautifully reflected both cultures. Family and friends gathered, bringing dishes and gifts to share. As Kofi and Neoma dug their tiny hands into the cake, laughter filled the room. Amara looked around at the happy faces, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. They had built a loving community around their family, one that would cherish and support them through thick and thin. A few weeks after the twins' birthday, Amara experienced a wave of nausea that she couldn't shake. At first, she attributed it to exhaustion from the birthday celebrations, but when it persisted, she decided to take a pregnancy test. The results left her in shock. "Kwame!" she called out, her heart racing. When he came into the room, she held up the test, disbelief written all over her face. "Are you serious?" Kwame exclaimed, his eyes wide with astonishment. "We're going to have another baby?" Amara couldn't help but laugh through her surprise. "I guess so," she replied. The news was both exhilarating and terrifying. As they sat together, contemplating their growing family, they felt a mix of joy and apprehension about what the future held. As the reality of a new baby settled in, Amara and Kwame began to discuss how to manage their growing family. "We'll need to rearrange everything," Amara mused, thinking about the logistics of having 3 young children. "And we can't forget how busy life will get," Kwame added, a thoughtful look on his face. They decided to sit down with their families to share the news. When Amara's parents heard, their reactions were a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "Another grandchild! You both are incredible!" her mother exclaimed, clapping her hands with joy. Amara felt a sense of relief wash over her. Their support made the transition seem less daunting, and she realized that with love and teamwork, they could face any challenge that came their way. With the pregnancy moving along, Amara and Kwame began preparing for their newest addition. They transformed the guest room into a nursery, painting it in soft pastels and filling it with all the necessities. As they assembled cribs and changing tables, the excitement in the air was palpable. One evening, while organizing baby clothes, Amara reflected on how far they had come. "Do you remember when we first got married?" she asked Kwame, a smile tugging at her lips. "It feels like a lifetime ago," he replied, chuckling. "We were just kids back then." Amara nodded, thinking about their journey, the struggles, the triumphs, and now the impending joy of welcoming another child. They were building a beautiful life together, one filled with love and laughter. As Amara approached her due date, her family decided to throw her a baby shower. Her mother took charge, excitedly planning every detail. "This time, let's invite everyone," she declared, envisioning a large gathering filled with joy and laughter. Amara was touched by her mother's enthusiasm and grateful for the support. On the day of the shower, the house was a whirlwind of colors, laughter, and love. Friends and family arrived, bringing gifts and sharing in the celebration. Amara felt overwhelmed by the warmth surrounding her. As she opened gifts, her heart swelled with gratitude for the community they had built. "You're going to be such a wonderful big sister," Amara whispered to Neoma, who played with the colorful ribbons scattered on the floor. However, as the baby shower came to an end, A storm began brewing on the horizon. Amara felt increasingly fatigued and began experiencing complications with her pregnancy. A routine checkup revealed that she needed to take things easy to avoid any risks to her health and the baby. "You need to rest, Amara," her doctor advised, concern etched on her face. The news weighed heavily on Amara. "I don't want to burden anyone," she told Kwame, worry creeping into her voice. He took her hands gently. "You're not a burden. We're in this together. I'll handle everything." His reassurance made her feel better, but the thought of relying on others left her feeling uneasy. With family support around her, she knew she had to accept help. With Amara needing to rest, Kwame stepped up to manage the household. He juggled parenting duties, helping Kofi and Naoma with their daily routines, and keeping the house running smoothly. Amara was amazed at how effortlessly he managed it all, but she couldn't shake the guilt of feeling like she was not contributing. One evening, as Kwame prepared dinner while soothing a fussy Naoma, he caught Amara watching him with admiration. "You're doing so much," she said softly. He smiled, brushing his hand through his hair. "I'm just doing what needs to be done, and besides, I wouldn't want it any other way." That night, Amara realized how lucky she was to have a partner who understood the importance of teamwork in their marriage. As Amara's health improved, her parents surprised her with a visit. "We wanted to check on you and help out," her father said, a broad smile on his face. Amara felt a surge of love and appreciation. Having them around made the house feel even warmer, and she welcomed the extra support with open arms. Amara's mother immediately took charge, preparing meals and helping with the twins. "I missed being here with you," she said, brushing a strand of hair behind Amara's ear. "You're doing an amazing job, sweetheart." Amara's heart swelled with gratitude. It was moments like these that reminded her of the bond they shared, reinforcing that they were a family, united by love and support. As the due date approached, the atmosphere in the house buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Amara felt a mix of anxiety and joy, knowing that soon they would welcome their new baby. On the night of her labor, the stars twinkled brightly outside, as if the universe itself was celebrating the occasion. With Kwame by her side, they headed to the hospital, their hearts racing with anticipation. After hours of labor, Amara felt a wave of relief when she heard the first cries of her newborn. Kwame's eyes sparkled with tears of joy as he held their new baby, a beautiful girl they named Ada. "Welcome to the family, Ada," he whispered, and Amara's heart felt complete. They had created another life together, surrounded by love and support. Bringing Ada home was a whirlwind of emotions. Amara and Kwame found themselves adjusting to the demands of 3 young children. While the joy of having a new baby filled their hearts, the realities of sleepless nights and busy days quickly set in. "How did we ever think we could handle this?" Amara joked one evening as she rocked Ada in her arms while Kofi and Naoma played at her feet. Kwame chuckled, walking into the room with a stack of laundry. "We can't do it alone. We're a team, remember?" He took Ada from Amara, cradling her gently. It was comforting to have someone to share the load with, even if it felt overwhelming at times. Together, they learned the art of multitasking, juggling diaper changes, bedtime stories, and the occasional moment of quiet. After settling into their new routine, Amara and Kwame decided it was time for their first family outing since Ada's arrival. They planned a picnic at the local park, a chance to enjoy nature and some fresh air. Excitement bubbled in the air as they packed a basket filled with treats, sandwiches, fruits, and plenty of snacks for the twins. When they arrived at the park, the children squealed in delight, running toward the playground. Amara watched them with a smile, feeling her heart swell with love. She glanced at Kwame, who was setting up the picnic blanket. "This is what happiness looks like," she said, grinning. "Absolutely," he replied, looking around at their little family. They were building beautiful memories, one outing at a time. As the day wore on, however, the reality of managing 3 young children became apparent. Kofi and Naoma had boundless energy, while Ada needed frequent feeding and soothing. "I didn't think it would be this chaotic," Amara admitted, laughter mingling with her frustration as she tried to juggle it all. Kwame took a deep breath, embracing the chaos. "It's a learning curve, but we'll get the hang of it," he reassured her. They took turns attending to the twins, while also caring for Ada, each learning to communicate and be patient with one another. Through the chaos, they discovered that laughter and love could carry them through even the most challenging moments. As the months rolled by, Kofi and Naoma began to bond with their new sister. They would often lean over her crib, babbling in delight, or bring her their favorite toys. Amara watched in awe as the twins embraced their roles as older siblings. "Look at them," she said to Kwame one evening, her heart full. "They're already such great big brother and sister." Kwame smiled, feeling pride swell within him. It's beautiful to see them connect. They're a little family within a family. Together they encouraged the bond among their children, nurturing the love that grew between them. It was a joy to witness, and Amara felt grateful for the moments they shared. Despite the joy of family life, Amara soon realized the importance of self-care amidst the chaos. One evening, after the kids were asleep, she felt exhausted and worn out. "I need a break," she confessed to Kwame, rubbing her tired eyes. "It's okay to take time for yourself, Amara," he replied, concerned. "You deserve it." With Kwame's encouragement, Amara decided to carve out small moments for herself. She began to enjoy quiet baths, reading, and even going for short walks. These little acts of self-care rejuvenated her spirit, allowing her to approach motherhood with renewed energy. "I didn't realize how much I needed this," she said one evening, feeling lighter and more grounded. As spring approached, Amara and Kwame received exciting news. Kwame's parents were planning a visit from Ghana. Amara could feel the excitement in the air, especially with the twins growing older and Ada becoming more interactive. "It'll be wonderful for them to meet their grandparents," she said, envisioning the joy the visit would bring. When Kwame's parents arrived, the house filled with warmth and laughter. Kofi and Naoma rushed into their grandparents' arms, and the room erupted in joyful chaos. Amara observed from the kitchen as her in-laws shared stories and laughter with the twins. The bond between them blossomed in those moments, reminding Amara of how important family connections were. With Kwame's parents in town, Amara and Kwame seized the opportunity to introduce their children to both Nigerian and Ghanaian traditions. They organized a cultural day, inviting both families to come together to share their rich heritages. Amara's parents brought traditional Nigerian dishes, while Kwame's family prepared classic Ghanaian meals. The kitchen became a hub of activity, filled with the tantalizing aromas of jollof rice, kelewel, and egusi soup. As they cooked, they exchanged stories about their cultures, teaching the twins about their roots. Amara felt grateful to witness the blend of traditions, creating a rich tapestry of family history that their children could cherish. The cultural day culminated in a family gathering filled with music, dance, and laughter. Amara and Kwame encouraged the children to join in, showing them traditional dances from both cultures. Kofi and Naoma laughed and twirled around, imitating their parents with wild enthusiasm. Amara's heart swelled with joy as she watched the families come together, their children playing and bonding seamlessly. It was a moment of unity that reminded her how far they had come since their own families had struggled to accept their union. Now they were creating a new legacy for their children, one filled with love and acceptance. However, amidst the joy, Amara faced a new challenge. She noticed that Kofi had begun to act out in frustration. "He's been throwing tantrums lately," she confided in Kwame one evening, concern etched on her face. "I think he might be feeling overwhelmed with Ada's arrival." Kwame nodded thoughtfully. "We need to talk to him, help him express his feelings. That night they sat with Kofi, encouraging him to share what was on his mind. As he opened up, they discovered he felt a bit left out with all the attention on Ada. Amara and Kwame reassured him of his importance in the family and made a point to include him in more activities. With the situation addressed, Amara and Kwame focused on strengthening their family bonds. They initiated special time with each child, dedicating moments to one-on-one activities. Kofi enjoyed playing soccer with Kwame, while Neoma loved having tea parties with Amara. These dedicated moments brought a sense of balance to their busy household. Kofi's mood improved, and he began to thrive with the attention he received. The family dynamic transformed into one where everyone felt valued, reminding Amara that taking the time to connect with each child was crucial in fostering their happiness. As the months went by, Ada began to reach her milestones, sitting up, crawling, and even attempting her first steps. The house was filled with laughter as Kofi and Neoma cheered her on during her attempts. "Look at her go," Kofi shouted, his excitement contagious. Amara watched with pride, grateful for the bond that was forming among her children. Kwame captured these moments with his camera, preserving the laughter and love that enveloped their home. "We need to document this," he said, his eyes sparkling as he snapped photos. Amara smiled, knowing these memories would be cherished for years to come. Each day felt like a new chapter in their adventure, and she was eager to capture every moment. With the arrival of summer, Amara and Kwame decided it was time for a family trip. They planned a weekend getaway to a beautiful beach, envisioning days filled with sunshine, sandcastles, and laughter. Amara packed a bag full of beach essentials, while Kwame loaded the car with snacks and toys. When they arrived at the beach, the twins squealed in delight, running toward the water. Amara felt the sun warm her skin as she joined them in the sand. Kwame helped Kofi build an impressive sandcastle, while Neoma collected seashells. The joy on their faces reminded Amara of the beauty of family moments, simple yet profound. That day they created memories that would forever be etched in their hearts. However, as they splashed in the waves, Amara noticed that Neoma seemed hesitant to join in the fun. She stood at the water's edge, her little face scrunched in uncertainty. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Amara asked, kneeling beside her. Neoma whispered, "I'm scared of the water." Understanding her daughter's fear, Amara took her hand gently. "It's okay to be scared, Neoma. Let's take it slow." With Kwame's support, they coaxed Neoma into the water, showing her how to play safely. After a few tentative steps, Neoma found her footing, and soon laughter replaced her apprehension. Amara felt proud of how they navigated their children's fears together, fostering a safe space for open communication. As summer turned into fall, a new challenge arose. Amara began to feel the weight of her responsibilities as a mother. Balancing the needs of 3 children while managing household duties began to feel overwhelming. "I don't know how to keep everything together," she admitted to Kwame one evening, her eyes reflecting exhaustion. Kwame wrapped his arms around her. "You don't have to do it all alone. We can adjust and ask for help when we need it." His words were a comfort, reminding her that they were a team. They decided to involve family more actively, creating a support network that allowed them to share the load. It was a lesson in humility and vulnerability, embracing the reality that asking for help was not a sign of weakness, but of strength. With the school year approaching, Amara and Kwame wanted to celebrate Kofi and Neoma's achievements. They decided to organize a small family gathering to honor their accomplishments and boost their confidence for the new school year. "It's important they feel supported," Amara said, her eyes shining with pride. On the day of the celebration, they decorated the living room with colorful banners and prepared a cake adorned with the words, "We believe in you." Kofi and Neoma beamed as their family gathered to applaud their efforts. Amara felt her heart swell as she watched her children receive love and encouragement. It was a moment of unity, a reminder that they were all in this together, facing challenges and celebrating victories as one loving family. As the school year approached, Amara and Kwame immersed themselves in preparations. They took Kofi and Neoma shopping for school supplies, filling their cart with colorful notebooks, pencils and backpacks. "I can't wait to show my friends my new stuff," Neoma exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Amara smiled, thrilled to see her children so eager for the new adventure. They spent the afternoon organizing their supplies, labeling everything with cheerful stickers. Kofi, being the older brother, took it upon himself to help Neoma learn about the importance of being organized. "If we keep everything neat, we'll always know where to find it," he declared, puffing out his chest. The bond between the siblings was heartwarming, a reflection of the love and teamwork that Amara and Kwame had nurtured. The first day of school finally arrived, and excitement buzzed in the air. Amara prepared a hearty breakfast for the family, complete with pancakes and fruit. "Today is a big day," she said, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. As Kofi and Neoma finished their meals, Amara captured the moment with her camera, wanting to preserve their smiles. When it was time to leave, the twins donned their new backpacks, beaming with pride. Kwame held Ada in his arms as they walked to the bus stop together. Amara's heart swelled with mixed emotions, pride, excitement, and a touch of sadness as she realized how quickly her children were growing. As the bus arrived, she waved goodbye, knowing that this was just the beginning of a new chapter for them all. While the children settled into their new routines, Amara and Kwame faced their own adjustments. The quiet house felt foreign after the lively summer days spent together. "I didn't expect it to be so quiet," Amara said, sitting beside Kwame on the couch one afternoon. Kwame nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. "It'll take some time to get used to, but we can use this time for ourselves too." They decided to take advantage of the quiet moments by spending quality time together, rekindling their connection. Date nights at home became a new tradition where they would share a meal, talk about their dreams, and laugh together, strengthening their bond as partners and parents. As the weeks went by, Kofi and Neoma began sharing their experiences at school. Kofi spoke excitedly about making new friends, while Neoma opened up about feeling shy in class. "I don't know how to raise my hand like you do, Mommy," she confessed one evening, her voice small. Amara knelt beside her, gently brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "It's okay to feel shy, sweetheart. But remember, everyone feels that way sometimes. Just take a deep breath and believe in yourself." With Kwame's support, they encouraged Neoma to practice speaking up at home. Slowly, she began to build her confidence, and Amara couldn't help but feel proud of her daughter's progress. To celebrate the twins' successful first month at school, Amara and Kwame planned a surprise family outing to the local zoo. "We'll make a day of it," Kwame declared, excitement bubbling in his voice. They packed a picnic basket filled with sandwiches and snacks, eager to explore the animal exhibits together. When they arrived at the zoo, Kofi and Neoma's eyes widened in amazement at the sight of the lions, elephants, and monkeys. "Look at that one!" Neoma squealed, pointing at a playful monkey swinging from branch to branch. Amara watched the joy on her children's faces, grateful for the opportunity to create lasting memories as a family. The outing was a perfect reminder of the importance of celebrating achievements and cherishing time spent together. As the school year progressed, Kofi faced a new challenge: math. "I don't understand it, Mom," he exclaimed one evening, frustration evident on his face. Amara knelt beside him, seeing the worry in his eyes. "It's okay to struggle sometimes, Kofi. Let's tackle it together." Kwame joined them at the kitchen table, and together they worked through Kofi's math homework. They made a game out of the numbers, using toys to visualize problems. Slowly, Kofi's frown turned into a smile as he began to grasp the concepts. "I get it now," he exclaimed, relief washing over him. Amara felt proud of her son's perseverance and knew that their support was essential in helping him overcome obstacles. As the twins navigated their school experiences, Amara and Kwame realized the importance of open communication. They initiated weekly family meetings where everyone could share their thoughts and feelings. "This is our safe space," Kwame explained, looking around the table. "No judgment, just love." At the first meeting, Neoma shyly spoke up about feeling nervous during class presentations. Kofi shared how he felt pressured to be the best in his math class. Amara and Kwame listened attentively, validating their feelings and offering encouragement. These discussions brought the family closer, fostering a deeper understanding of one another's challenges and triumphs. Inspired by the family meetings, Amara decided to dedicate a weekend to creativity. She planned a family art project where they would create a mural representing their family story. "Let's paint our journey together," she proposed, her excitement contagious. With supplies gathered, the family spent the day outside, splattering paint and drawing images that represented their adventures. Kofi painted a soccer ball, while Neoma drew flowers and butterflies. Amara and Kwame worked together, adding elements of their heritage. As they painted, laughter filled the air, and they shared stories that made the mural a vibrant tapestry of their lives. As they worked on the mural, Amara and Kwame noticed the unique talents of their children. Kofi had a natural flair for drawing, while Neoma showcased her vivid imagination through storytelling. "You both have amazing gifts," Kwame said, beaming with pride. "Let's celebrate them." Inspired by their children's talents, Amara proposed a family talent show. "We can showcase what we love to do," she suggested. The idea ignited excitement among the kids, who immediately began brainstorming acts. Kofi decided to create a drawing for the audience, while Neoma planned to tell a story. The talent show would be a fun way to encourage creativity and confidence within the family. The day of the talent show arrived, and the house buzzed with anticipation. Amara decorated the living room with colorful streamers and set up a small stage for the kids. "This is our moment to shine," she declared, and Kwame clapped in agreement. As the show began, Kofi took the stage first, showcasing his incredible drawing skills. He narrated the story behind his artwork, and the family applauded with pride. Next, Neoma captivated everyone with her imaginative tale about a brave princess who saved her kingdom. Laughter and cheers filled the room, creating a sense of joy and celebration. Amara and Kwame felt grateful for these moments that fostered confidence and creativity in their children. As the weeks went by, Kofi's class organized a charity event to help underprivileged children in their community. "We're collecting toys and clothes to donate," Kofi explained, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Amara and Kwame were proud of their son's commitment to helping others. "That's wonderful, Kofi. Let's see what we can gather," Amara replied, inspired by her son's eagerness to contribute. While rummaging through the house, they found toys that Kofi had outgrown and clothes that Neoma no longer wore. As they packed the items, Amara encouraged the children to think about the children who would receive them. "Imagine how happy these toys will make someone else," she said. This lesson in empathy helped the twins appreciate their blessings while understanding the importance of giving back. On the day of the charity event, Amara and Kwame took the family to the collection center. As they arrived, Kofi and Neoma felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. "What if they don't like our toys?" Neoma asked, biting her lip. Amara knelt beside her. "Remember, it's about sharing what we have. You're making a difference." As they handed over the items, the smiles on the volunteers' faces reassured the children. They realized their contributions were appreciated, and it filled their hearts with joy. Kofi declared, "I want to do this every year." Amara and Kwame exchanged proud glances, knowing they were instilling values that would last a lifetime. As school continued, Kofi began to experience the complexities of friendships. One day he came home visibly upset. Some of the boys were teasing me because I'm not the best at soccer, he said, frustration in his voice. Amara felt a pang of concern, knowing how much friendships mattered at this age. Kwame sat down beside Kofi. It's tough when friends don't treat us kindly. Remember, true friends lift you up, not bring you down. Focus on what you love about the game, and don't let others define your worth. Amara nodded, encouraging Kofi to share his feelings. Together, they devised a plan to help Kofi stand up for himself and foster positive friendships. With their guidance, Kofi decided to reach out to a few classmates and invite them over for a friendly soccer match. It'll be fun, and we can all improve together, he suggested, his enthusiasm returning. Amara helped him prepare snacks for his friends, reminding him to embrace kindness and teamwork during their gathering. When the day arrived, the backyard was filled with laughter and excitement. Kofi's friends quickly warmed up to the welcoming atmosphere. As they played soccer, Kofi took the lead, sharing tips and cheering everyone on. The day ended with smiles and new friendships, and Kofi learned the value of camaraderie and support among peers. With the holidays approaching, Amara and Kwame decided to embark on a family project, creating handmade decorations for their home. Let's fill our space with love and creativity, Amara exclaimed, gathering supplies for festive crafts. The children were eager to contribute, excited to bring their ideas to life. They spent the weekend cutting, gluing and painting, transforming their home into a winter wonderland. Kofi made paper snowflakes, while Naoma designed colorful garlands. As they worked together, Amara felt the warmth of their family bond growing stronger. They sang holiday songs, shared stories and laughed, creating not only decorations but cherished memories that would last a lifetime. As the holiday season approached, Amara and Kwame began discussing their family traditions. We should create our own special ways to celebrate, Amara suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Kwame nodded in agreement, recalling how his family had celebrated back in Ghana. How about we blend our traditions, he proposed, envisioning a celebration that honored both Nigerian and Ghanaian customs. Together, they crafted a unique holiday celebration. They decided to cook traditional dishes from both cultures, jollof rice from Nigeria and kelewele from Ghana. The children eagerly joined in the preparations, helping chop vegetables and measure spices. The house filled with delightful aromas, signaling that their celebration would be one to remember. On the day of their holiday celebration, Amara and Kwame invited family and friends to join in the festivities. The living room was adorned with their handmade decorations, creating a cozy atmosphere. As guests arrived, the sounds of laughter and chatter filled the air, bringing warmth to the cold winter day. The feast they prepared was a beautiful blend of flavors, showcasing the richness of their cultures. Amara watched as Kofi and Naoma mingled with their cousins, sharing stories and laughter. The evening culminated in a lively dance party, where everyone joined together, showcasing traditional dances from both Nigeria and Ghana. In that moment, Amara felt a profound sense of joy and gratitude, knowing their family was creating lasting memories. As the holidays came to a close, Amara took some time to reflect on the past year. She thought about the challenges they had faced, the lessons they had learned, and the love that had flourished within their family. We've grown so much together, she said to Kwame one evening as they sat cuddled on the couch. Kwame smiled, his eyes filled with affection. Every moment, whether challenging or joyful, has shaped us into who we are. I'm grateful for our family and the love we share. They spent the night reminiscing about their journey, feeling a deep appreciation for each other and the bond they had cultivated as partners and parents. As the new year approached, Amara suggested they set family resolutions together. Let's think of goals that will help us grow closer as a family, she proposed, her enthusiasm infectious. The children were excited at the idea, eager to share their aspirations. During their family meeting, Kofi expressed his desire to improve his soccer skills, while Neoma wished to read more books. Amara and Kwame shared their goals, emphasizing the importance of supporting each other in achieving them. They created a family vision board, filled with images and words that represented their dreams. This activity sparked inspiration, igniting a renewed sense of purpose within the family. As the new year began, Amara and Kwame decided to strengthen their connection with their community. They organized a volunteer day where they could give back together as a family. "Let's find a way to make a difference," Amara encouraged, her heart set on instilling the value of service in their children. They chose a local shelter and spent the day preparing meals for those in need. Kofi and Neoma eagerly helped chop vegetables and package food, their faces lighting up with each act of kindness. As they worked side by side, Amara felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing they were teaching their children the importance of compassion and empathy. As winter turned to spring, Amara received an unexpected phone call from her family in Nigeria. It had been a while since they last spoke, and her heart raced with a mix of hope and apprehension. "Amara, we want to visit you and meet your children," her mother said, her voice softening with emotion. Amara felt a wave of joy wash over her. "Of course, we'd love to have you," she replied, her excitement bubbling over. Kwame and the children shared in her joy, but Amara also felt a sense of nervousness about the visit. She hoped her family would embrace the life she had built with Kwame. Together, they prepared for the visit, decorating the house and planning meals that showcased their blended cultures, hoping to make a lasting impression on Amara's family. When Amara's family arrived, the air was thick with anticipation. As Amara embraced her mother, tears filled her eyes. "I've missed you so much," she whispered, feeling a rush of emotions. Kwame welcomed them warmly, introducing himself and the children. Kofi and Neoma shyly greeted their grandparents, unsure of what to expect. As the days unfolded, Amara's family immersed themselves in the children's lives, sharing stories and laughter. They marveled at how much Kofi and Neoma had grown, their hearts swelling with pride. Amara watched as her family began to bridge the gap between their cultures, enjoying the unique blend of traditions that Kwame had introduced to their home. Throughout the visit, Amara felt a renewed connection with her family. They shared meals that celebrated both Nigerian and Ghanaian cuisines, enjoying each bite while discussing the significance of each dish. Kwame's stories about their life together captivated her parents, and Amara noticed the warmth in their eyes as they began to appreciate her choices. One evening, as they all gathered in the living room, Kofi and Neoma showcased their newly learned dance moves from both cultures. The laughter that erupted filled the room, and Amara's heart swelled with happiness. In that moment, she realized how far they had come as a family, and how love had the power to heal and unite. As the visit drew to a close, Amara's parents expressed their gratitude. "We see now how much love and happiness you've built here, and we are proud of you," her mother said, her voice filled with sincerity. Amara felt a weight lift from her heart, knowing that the rift that once separated them was beginning to mend. Kwame's family also reached out, sharing messages of love and support. The two families decided to create a shared family group chat, ensuring that connections would continue to grow. Amara and Kwame felt a sense of relief and joy, knowing that their children would now have a broader network of love and support. With renewed family bonds and a deep sense of unity, Amara and Kwame looked forward to the future. They made plans for family gatherings that would alternate between Nigeria and Ghana, ensuring that their children would grow up knowing the richness of both cultures. "This is just the beginning," Amara said, her eyes shining with hope. As they sat together one evening, reflecting on their journey, Amara and Kwame felt grateful for the love that had carried them through the trials and joys of life. With their family by their side, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in love and purpose. The laughter of Kofi and Neoma filled the air, a beautiful melody that reminded them of the love they had built. a love that would carry them through all the seasons of life.